All right, here we are again with a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks, almost the month of May. Believe it or not, Sunday is the first day of the new month. April's been kind of a schizophrenic month temperature-wise. We've been all over the place. This month, we've had our unseasonably warm days, especially earlier this week and last weekend, but we've had very chilly days like we had yesterday. Today was a little bit better. 52 is what we did at the airport this afternoon. Now, that's still about 13 degrees cooler than the average. But again, big improvement over yesterday. For the month as a whole, about a half a degree cooler than average. It looks like we're going to finish the month fraction of a degree cooler than average. Nothing too unusual, though, in the temperature department for the month as a whole when you factor in the highs and the lows. Some extremes, but it all kind of washes out, and it turns out to be just a slightly cooler than average month. I am ready to declare the snow season is over. We're not going to see a repeat of the last couple of years in which we had snow on May the 9th. Each of the last 2 years. We're not going to do that this year, so I think this will be our final total for the year. 60.8 is where we stand at the Youngstown Warren Airport for the season. 67.7 is about average, so about 7 degrees shy of average, but about 3 inches more than what we had last year through today's date. Now, we added a little bit more to that in early May last year. Again, we're not going to do that this year. And so, this forecast actually worked out pretty well for the winter. We depicted in our annual winter forecast an above-average season for total precipitation, but probably a little bit below average in the snow department, and that worked out to be right on the money. All right, let's check in on some of the, just a handful of the other stations across the region. We're about 7 inches shy of average, but Erie over 40 inches shy of average. They did not have as much lake effect as usual up along the shores in northwestern PA. Cleveland also in a deficit, almost 11 inches shy of average, whereas Akron and Pittsburgh were actually a little bit above average in the snow department. Columbus ended up about 13 inches, I should say, shy of the average. All right, tonight it's not snow, but the cold temperatures, of course, and much like last night, freeze warnings are out for most of eastern Ohio and western PA, the panhandle of West Virginia as well. Temperatures overnight tonight, maybe not quite as cold as last night, but pretty close. Most of us are going to see the upper 20s by daybreak on our Friday. Across the country this evening, again, much like last evening, we don't have any huge weather stories nationwide. Actually, a little snow way up here in northern Maine. Some showers off to our west, some showers over the Intermountain West. But severe weather is not a big concern tonight, even though there could be a couple of gusty thunderstorms in the high plains. Tomorrow is going to be a more active day in the middle of the country for severe weather. In fact, a level 3 on a 1 to 5 scale. Enhanced risk of severe weather from Oklahoma City up through the Wichita area, heading into extreme southern Nebraska, and then the threat on Saturday shifts off to the east, so a risk of severe weather as the weekend begins in St. Louis, heading down towards the Memphis area and then up the Ohio River as well. I don't think severe weather is all that likely around here on Sunday, but some thunderstorms will become increasingly likely, I think, as we get into the afternoon. We'll keep an eye on the trends as far as any severe weather threat. More on the weekend forecast coming up. In the meantime, much like this morning, if you are an early riser, this is something to check out in the east-southeast sky about an hour or less before sunrise. Sunrise 6:30 or so. So if you're up around 5:15, 5:30, up through about 6:20, 6:30, you can check this out. Jupiter and Venus particularly close together. A couple of bright spots in that east-southeast sky. They are really easy to pick out. And then just up and to the right of those two planets is Mars. Up and to the right of that is one of the other gas giants in the solar system. Of course, it is Saturn. Now, those 4 planets will be joined by the moon in the sky, I believe, Saturday morning. We should have a good opportunity to check that out. So, of course, I'll post about that again tomorrow night on social media, and I'll talk about it in Weather for Weather Geeks as well. As far as the weather here on planet Earth, another winter coming up on Friday. Yes, a cold start, but a fair amount of sunshine for our Friday. The weekend forecast starts with a decent amount of sunshine on our Saturday. I think these showers are going to wash out to our west on Saturday, so we've got a dry forecast for the start of the weekend. Shower might creep in as early as daybreak on Sunday, but the showers are a little more likely as we head towards midday Sunday, and thunderstorms will be a possibility as well. Here's one of our models showing a scattering of lightning strikes across the area on Sunday. I don't think the ingredients around here are as good for a severe weather risk Sunday as they are to our west Saturday in places like Illinois and Indiana and Kentucky, but maybe something we have to watch out for, a couple of gusty thunderstorms across the area as the weekend wraps up. Now, unlike yesterday, today, and even tomorrow, it'll be warmer than average this weekend as we head into the month of May. 69 Saturday, and we'll match that on Sunday. And in fact, it may be a little bit warmer than this for a couple of days early next week. So no extremes over the next 10 days compared to the average. These are the high temperatures compared to the average. We'll peak on Tuesday with a high getting into the lower and middle 70s. That's about 7 above average. But then as we get closer to Mother's Day weekend, coming up in about 8 or 9 days, we're talking about a somewhat cooler regime. But, keep in mind, of course, by this point, our average high is getting close to 70. So it's not like these days will be in the 40s. A handful of degrees cooler than average by Mother's Day means highs mostly in the 60s. We're going to do an updated May forecast either tomorrow or Monday. I'm expecting May to be kind of similar to April in terms of the temperature regime. I'm not expecting a warmer than average month by any magnitude. It may end up somewhat warmer than average, but I doubt at this point it would be significantly cooler than average as well. And the overall trends as far as precipitation, it may be another pretty active month, and I think we've got a pretty active summer coming up. We're going to take a long look at the summer forecast as we head towards the tail end of May. But all signs at this point indicate a pretty active summer. I don't think a drought will be all that likely, at least in the first half of summer. I would expect frequent bouts of precipitation, which tends to make people kind of grumpy by the time we get into summer, so I might have to go into hiding if that comes to fruition. In the meantime, thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. I'll see you back here on Friday.